into the mistakes. This is the fun part. No, it's been so fun so far. So, okay, we compiled a couple of mistakes with Iasmina that we think that we see often. And by the way, this is not to dish or judge anyone, okay? We all been there. We haven't had the knowledge or the awareness before, so I just don't want anyone to listen to this and feel like we're judging anyone. We are not. We just want to bring forward and shed some light in a loving way to some of the mistakes that we see, and then maybe help you guys to work through them and find a better way to express yourself. So, Iasmina, what is the first mistakes that you see often in the content space?
So the first mistake is actually one that everyone hears about, is having this fluffy, real, non-tangible language and not being specific exactly what do you mean with something. So when you go into stories or anything or teaching something that you are doing, it's very important not to start talking in a way that only people in your industry will understand, or only people who are close to you will understand this, because we are trying to attract new clients, new leads, new people that are going to connect with your offer and with what you are doing. So you need to make sure that your language is not very fluffy and it makes sense to everyone.
I love when you say fluffy. Like, I wonder what she means by fluffy. But it's so true, and I think I would dissect this to a couple of directions. I think we can go into fluffy and say fluffy as in using words that don't mean anything. I think we all read those posts where we are just unleash, unlock your destiny, blah blah, and like all those words that are just like, what did I just read? Like, there's no essence. I can't capture anything. It's just fluff, right?
Mm,
That's what I think there is fluffiness.
yeah.
And the other fluffy is the language of the industry. The marketing terms like leads, capture, CP. I don't know, my IPC, ABC. Like all the things that the industry is using. Like, oh, here's my offer, instead of saying, hey, here's an opportunity for you to work with me. Well, do you understand? Like, even if we say like, oh, create your offer, or versus here, hey, here's an opportunity for you to work with me. Like, how different does that sound for people? Like, this is what I offer versus, hey, that's how we can work together. Like all the things that kind of we are taught in the industry and kind of using that. I think that's where I see fluff. And then I see fluff in like, you don't make any sense. This doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, exactly. It's that part where we use words that have so many meanings and that are overused. Is that fluffy side, and the other side is where we use this expert language that will, as I said, will make sense to somebody who is in the same industry with you. With it makes sense for people that are already working with you. So for the other people that you want to attract, you need to explain what does it mean a lead, what's a funnel, what's something, because it's going to be really it's going to sound good to you because it makes sense when you know everything, all the information behind what's a funnel or what's a lead or so on. But it's not going to make sense to the people you want to attract. So always make sure to explain those terms.
Yeah, and I think that has to be, like you said, everyone is on different stages of like being connecting with you or buying from you, right? So,
Mm.
like you said, the stage that you already educated, maybe they read the post when you explain what a lead is, right? Or maybe they read the post when you explain about market awareness, whatever, right? So maybe they read it, but maybe they didn't. And then if they didn't, they can still be a client one day. And then you just literally talk about, whatever acquisition channel. I don't know, just like terms that are fluffy in your wording. That would make no sense for people that are not in the industry. And I
Mhm.
think why this happens is that, first of all, if you are in the industry, it's like second nature to you to speak that way. I think that's the first thing.
Yeah.
The second thing is like, it's a bit of like a show offy thing. I don't know if that's like, look at me, I'm so smart, like ICP, ABC, like whatever. It's just like using all the terms like, see, I know my shit. I know what a lead is. Like I speak in terms and like, you know, I think that's a bit of an ego play of like, hey, look at me, I'm so smart. I'm using all these terms. And then a little bit of like, oh, I'm in the market. And for me, it's second nature. I think either or is playing into the fluffiness of this kind of lingo.
I think it comes somehow. We all do these mistakes once in a while because I catch myself using expert language and I'm like, okay, no, this is not the right way. And I think sometimes people try to build this authority and to show up as an expert and to show up like, look, I'm good at what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. But that's usually for you to showcase your work and what you are doing and your years of experience, your certifications, and so on. But actually, it's not going to position yourself as an authority in front of the ideal clients because they are not going to understand. And authority comes from another side of your content, not from the expert language and your complicated terms. And I really had somebody who told me, like, my clients are smart, and I was like, we all have smart clients. Like, where is this coming from? Because it's not about being smart, it's about the fact that you are on the internet and people have less than 8 seconds to read your content. And if it takes me too much time, too much energy to go through everything and to try to understand what you are saying, I'm not going to stay there. So it's better to be smarter with your content that assuming that people are smart and they are going to understand. It's not about that. It's just about the fact that you want to make everything as easy as possible for everyone.
Yeah, and you know what? That's really hard to do. Like to make it simple and make it easy.
Yep.
And when you said it, like the people that are in your industry, they will understand you. So unless you're selling to your own industry, then it's fine. You can go ham with the terms, right? But if you're not selling to your industry, if you're selling to, you know, clients, if you're selling to other, business owners that are not in a marketing industry, then of course you have to be simplifying things, okay?
Yeah, and also you mentioned before that you need to create content for somebody who already saw your previous post and for somebody who is new to your page. I think this is the part where you really need to pay more attention and to make sure that you include everyone in your content. And this is even more challenging than having this part of avoiding the expert language or terms that are going to make you sound floppy. So making sure that your content speaks also to your existing audience, to the people you have right now on your page, but also will bring new people, is going to stretch your skills, I would say, a little bit in the beginning until you learn, okay, and you get the feeling and the data of, okay, this works for both audiences, and I see I get new clients and I also sign new consistent clients every month. And this is a sign for me that I get to these both types of people at the same time. But again, it takes time, it takes practice, it takes also strategy and also intuition. So it's very important to have both.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. What are the things that we are seeing as far as mistakes go? If you can go,
So another one
um,
that is really
yeah, go
connected.
ahead.
Yeah, so another mistake that is really connected to the previous one of being fluffy and having this expert language is being creative. And I think because, again, we have this desire to be seen as unique in the online space, we start with a lot of creative names, a lot of creative directions, explaining in a more unique and never seen or never heard way what we are doing. And actually, it's not about being creative as much as it's about being clever and having clarity in your message. Because people are not buying creativity, they are buying at the end of the day a transformation you offer. And first of all, your main purpose is to make sure that people understand the transformation they get. So I remember we talked about over DMs, and you also told me about the offer. Oh, it sounds like any other offer. Yeah, and I agree because it is. Again, we cannot invent certain things, and you need to be okay with the fact that you cannot invent like marketing or mindset. These terms and these concepts are they out there for years and years. But what you can bring unique is your personality, your take on marketing, your experience on marketing, on clients, and so on. So it's very important to be clear rather than being creative.
I love, love, love everything you just said. And I had a conversation about this with one of my friends as well yesterday. It's in the air. So that's why we're talking about it. It's coming to everyone's head. Um, but when you said like there is a need for a lot of people to be unique, right?
Mm,
And it's borderline on the artistic, and it's borderline on the inventing something that that is completely new and the marketplace hasn't heard of it just yet. And I think I love that you pointed that out, because there, if you look back to what all the gurus are talking about, like philosophical things, like we had like before Christ, like already people writing books about the truth of life, and we have just been having remixing it and then regurgitating it, and then it's been already there. It's like the basic things in life, right?
yeah.
So there is invention coming, but it's so rare, and there are great minds that they come up with completely new thing. Especially, I can give you an example of in psychology. Like, there are great minds, they're coming with some new take that is shaking up the whole industry, but
Mhm,
it's rare. And even so, when they shake up the industry, they're always ahead of their time, right? So
mhm,
being ahead of your time and coming up with something that is just okay, it's revolutionary, but they're not there yet, they don't get it. Like, maybe I need 10 years. So people that, okay, I've been saying this for 10 years, you guys, but then in that time for 10 years, people won't get it. So I love when you said like we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Okay, what makes our content unique is us. Okay, it's the filtering that it goes through. Like you said, like instead of just saying, these great terms, like, okay, here's a concept. And when I use it with my clients and with my life, here's what happened. And here's why I think it's great. You almost like you're filtering the water through a filtering machine, but it's you're the filtering machine. The information is there. I'm gonna put it through the filter, like you. It's gonna go through me. I'm gonna test this. I'm gonna see how that works with me, the clients, my experience, and then here's my take on it. So we always can put our own spin on it,
yeah.
like you said, and that becomes ours. That's unique to us.
Exactly. So I couldn't agree more with everything you just said because it's so true. And we spend so much energy and time on trying to be creative, on trying to come up with a unique name for the program or anything, when in reality, your program or your service needs to reflect actually what you are doing. What's the transformation that you are offering for people? So it's very important to make that more clear if you are not a really super creative person or a really somebody who comes with these super unique concepts, as you said, which it happens. There are people doing this. But I know that a lot of people are not into that area, and especially when it comes to marketing, because this is super close to marketing. A lot of people are focused so much on serving their clients. And you know this, I know you are in the same category as I am because I'm so focused on serving my clients every single day and making sure that they succeed and so on. That I don't have time and I don't have energy and I don't want to try to reinvent the wheel for something that is not going to make sense anyway. So it's very important to know where you should stop because of course you don't want to make your program sound like I offer marketing. That says anything and it's not communicating in a way that's going to create a little bit of curiosity, but also I'm not coming with something that you never heard about it, because it's going to make people put a lot of questions. And when something creates that type of thinking of going, okay, what does it mean, or what do you mean through this and that? No, people stop there and they are not going to ask you the questions, because I know there are other people who say, oh, okay, if somebody really wants to know what I'm doing or what I mean with this name, they should ask me. No, people are not going to ask you, and this is the internet and this is how it works, and we need to accept this.
Yeah, exactly. I'm 100% on you with that. So guys, cut back on the fluffy uniqueness of your programs. You can still make it yours by applying you in the framework in between and your experience. That's how you make it unique. And I think until you guys are like inventors, which is again rare, you will be ahead of your time and you will be probably just like, why is this not working? Why is this not selling? So I love that you said that. What else do we see in the industry?
So, as a mistake when it comes to content, and I think everyone wants to put content out there and to attract clients, is the fact that many people attract clients who can afford them, or it seems like their clients can't see them, or they get engagement but nothing happens on the sales part. And this is because often people speak to the version of their ideal clients that are not going to take action, that are going to stay forever in that place where nothing works, nothing makes sense. I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. So that's a mistake when you speak to the current situation of your ideal clients, which is not good, because that's why they want to work with you to change that. And you stop there, but you need just to acknowledge the fact that, okay, I understand you are in this state. I understand it's hard to stand out on social media, on the internet. I understand it's hard to have essence to your message and so on, and to be on social media, especially where everyone is on social media. I acknowledge that, but I also coming in front of you to tell you that you have an opportunity to change that, right? And you
Yeah.
can be the one that is seen by their ideal clients, who gets a lot of new paid and consistent clients through their content. So when I speak to the empower side of my ideal client, that's going to make them actually book a call, send me a DM, or work with me. But if I speak to the client that doesn't see any way of getting paid clients, of making their business work, it doesn't matter how good you are. Basically, they are not going to work with you. They are going to be all over your page all the time, saying, "Oh, thank you for this content. I hope I'm going to change my life because this and this and this." And they try to show you why they are in that situation even more. That means
Hmm.
they are not in this empowered state. And you need to show and to hold the vision for your ideal clients to show them what's possible. So speak more to the empowered side of your ideal clients rather than showing them why, okay, you are so right, I understand everything goes wrong and you're struggling. No, that's not going to make anyone take any type of action. So that's a huge mistake.
Hmm. I think the reason why a lot of people do this is because I was noting a couple of things. One was that of fear marketing. You know, when we are speaking to those type of people that are in a disempowered stage, as you said, the only thing we can use is fear, is manipulation, is coercion, is saying, "Hey, you have 5 spots left. Time is running out. You have 2 hours left." You know, like there is a difference between if you miss out, you know, you're gonna keep suffering versus, hey, um, if you miss out, you're gonna have you will have FOMO, and this is so much fun, and this is gonna be such an amazing thing for you. And you know, if you're not coming, that's cool, but still, you should really come because it's amazing. It will help you a lot. Versus, if you're not coming, your life is never going to change. It's going to be terrible for you. By the way, you have an hour, and then price is going to go up, and then so I feel like the fear marketing, like leaning into the fear and leaning into the that negative energy, the urgency is when you need the urgency, like, oh, you just do it now, or like buy, forever. Versus like, hey, we have something really good for you. If that's where you want to go, like, hey, I think you can. I've seen it happen, and I think you can. So let's go. You want to come? If you don't want to come, you know what? Just stay. Watch the content. Read, listen to me speak, like the podcast, whatever. That's cool. And whenever you're ready, come. I think there's a difference between that energy, like both energies.
Yeah, it's a difference, and also it's very important. Even if you are on the side who is a client, or you are on the side who is trying to attract a client, when you are taking decisions based on your fears and based on that, "Oh, I need to do right now something because I'm going to miss out this opportunity," you need to think about what happens, what's the next step, what's the second set of consequences. It's not just the fact that you join a program or you have a new client in your program. It's how they are going to show in that program. It's how they are going to make you feel when they don't show up to do the work, when they don't show up to actually put all their hearts into having the results that you promise. They are going to make you feel like you are not good enough for this.
Mm-hmm.
You can offer this type of service or this type of coaching, and then it hurts your brand, yeah, and the perception you have about yourself. If somebody is showing up complaining all the time, not taking action, not doing the things that you tell them to do, it's going to affect every part of your business. Also, if you are somebody who is not ready to take that step, but you take it because you are so afraid that you are going to miss out that opportunity to join a program, nothing is going to change. I don't think in this narrative of if you pay for it, you are going to change. No. If you are in a state where nothing seems to work and you just don't take action at all, if you pay $10,000 for a program, it's not going to change your situation. It's going to make you feel worse. Like, I have paid even for this program and nothing works. It's not a program, it's how you show up in the program. So it's very important to have this awareness on both sides when you take this decision. So I'm so glad that you bring up that into the discussion because it makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm. And it's especially when you're desperate, and that's another thing. Maybe we can go into it. It's not even content mistake, but like when people are desperate and they believe that it's gonna change their life, and we are investing in that stage anyway. I don't think it will help anyone. It won't help you. It won't help the person, because in when we are desperate, that energy of desperation is repelling. There's no way that people cannot tell you that you're desperate. They can tell the way you DM, they can tell the way you craft your messaging, your email. They can tell. Like there is an energy of, and then it's always repelling people. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very important to get rid of all the narratives that you have before investing and before getting into things that are going to offer a magic solution to everything what happens. Because what you will do is you are going to be in another program with the same problem. Maybe you are in another environment, but you are going to be the same person. So you need to clear up certain things before jumping or doing things. And here again is having this balance, because sometimes you can have all these things and to show up powerfully, but be aware of the energy that you put out there, because people can feel your energy and they can feel your state and mood and everything. Even if it's through content and it's through the online world, they can see you.
Exactly. One more mistake that I see, and I think it ties into your point, um, is when we talk about people can feel your energy. And I think you said, like we talked about this, But a lot of the times I see content coming from people from a wounded place, like they are just being angry, upset, and then hurt by a client, by something, and they come to online and they are like here to judge, and whether it's your client that you're here to judge because now you want to be like, I just want to be right, and you're wrong, and like here's why you're wrong, I think when you come into that energy and you're judgy, and honestly, it happened to me, and I went back and I deleted those judgy posts. I'm like, oh my god, what was I thinking? And now I have a rule for myself: like when I'm triggered, I don't touch anything. I don't touch the post. I shouldn't be touching nothing because this is not going to come out great. It's just going to trigger me even more. And I'm looking for validation for my trigger, which is like, that's not going to be making my business look any better if I'm just here to get validation for my triggers. So when you are in those stages, I think what would help you is to not scare your clients away because you're so judgy with your content, but instead like process it and then turn it to a lesson and take that lesson and talk about the lesson itself, how that whole experience gotten you, instead of judging anyone, instead of being super emotional or looking for validation. I think, and that takes time and that takes some processing, but it will get there. So I think, yeah, that's very common as well that I see.
Mhm. I actually saw a post the other day about this. Somebody, I don't know what they wrote, but I know it created a lot of controversy. And in the comments, I was seeing that this person was trying to get back what they said to justify their words, and it's not good. It's not looking good for your clients. It's not looking good for anybody else. So I agree with you on this.
Yeah. Anything else that you see on your end? Maybe this could be our last. Oh, okay. Okay, let me. I'm just gonna give you a second. Okay. Yasmina is drinking up some water. Hopefully, it's water, right? It's not like anything else.
No, no. Okay. So on my end, what I see also is to when people are talking about very, very specific, tangible results that you get.
Hmm.
We were talking about an example, and in that case, where it was about money. So
Hmm.
I'm going to help you make 10K. And what happens right now in the market is that people don't really want those tangible results in the way that it's presented because you need to go further. How is that going to change the life of your ideal clients? What happens in my life if I make 10, 20, 50K, whatever number I feel good about? How my life is going to change? And when you say, my program is going to help you do this, paint that picture, how it's going to change their life their day by day. Not just that's the final result. It's not. People want money or people want more uh, happiness or whatever you are selling because they desire the result of the money. They desire the result of happiness and how that's going to make them feel in their life. So it's very important to have those examples and to give people a, to paint a picture of how everything is going to change and how this is the best solution for them. Because if you just say again something general, it's not working anymore, and people feel the difference between those who get them and those who want to get them as clients and to sell something. So it's very important to show me more, show me how my life is going to change, show me how my business is going to look after I work with you, how that is going to impact not only my own life or the life or my business, how it's going to impact my relationship with my parents, with my family, with my boyfriend, with even my dog. you can say you can take your dog on a plane and go
Mhm.
trips and so on. Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah, sounds good. So speak more to the result of the outcome you are promising. So that's very important.
You can take your dog in a Louis Vuitton dog carrier, and your dog can be the a blast on the plane cargo. I don't know. Yeah, but it's so true. And I think if you can take it further and say like, okay, so working with me, you're gonna feel this, and here's why, because I've done it and I've done it repeatedly, and here's why it works, or here's what other people say, or you can talk to ABCD. All my clients will tell you, and it's gonna be that it worked for them. I think that's also like that's where we can discover if there is substance behind those claims,
Mm-hmm.
if there are experiences behind it, or it's just a fluffy claim to attract people.
Yeah, and I think people who are succeeding right now on social media also are those people who get to know their ideal clients to a much, much deeper level, to the level that you know them better they know themselves. So that's going to help you even more than saying, okay, I don't understand what's happening because I promised these results. I think I'm clear in my language and all of this. No, just people need to, again, they need to feel that connection. And connection leads to being profitable. But you cannot be profitable just by chasing money or chasing something. Again, people are going to feel your energy, and it's important to have that essence to your message. And as you said, the substance that's way more important than every strategy you have.
Exactly, because I think, and that ties into your point, when I work with people and I work with them, I know them better than they know themselves, and the reason why is because I've been talking to them. I know when the things are like when they say one thing and but they really mean another thing. And that's if that can show up, and that's why I always preach on proximity over any type of strategy, is because when you know them so well because you work with them, you speak to them, then everything you say afterwards is like, oh my god, this person is in my head. And it's not because I do market research, it's because I've been talking to these people. And I think that's what a lot of people is missing, is that experience of talking to them. And if they don't talk to them, it's going to be a guess game. It's going to be like, you are this and you are that, and then you're scratching your head, you're thinking, what content should I put out? Like, really?
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing? Or is it you that you are doing it? I think if you don't have that experience and you can't speak that those desires that they don't even know they have, then it's gonna be a guess game in your content, and it's not gonna work, that well.
I totally agree on that. And also, when you speak with people, it's really important to understand what they mean behind those words. Because, for example, I can jump on a call with somebody and they are going to tell me, I'm stuck. But if I write in my content, do you feel stuck? That's fluffy language. That's what does it mean stuck? How does it look
Oh
in
my god, I hate that. You're stuck.
right? And it's so important to get behind what they mean actually, and not to take their words, to take the meaning behind their words.
I even say when I hear people, are you burned out? And I'm like, huh. So you really don't know what the symptoms of burnout are, because a lot of people who are burned out, they don't even know they're burned out. They're like, literally, there's 12 steps of burnout. The last two is depression and then suicide. Okay, that's the two. If you're there, you're probably not going to be browsing the internet. But the all 10 steps before that are symptoms. And symptoms are like, if you speak to the symptoms, and then, oh yeah, by the way, that's burnout. And like, oh my god, is it? I didn't know. So instead of saying like, are you burned out, are you stuck, are you, what would that mean if you were that person? What would you be thinking? You would be sleeping probably all day. You would not feel like, inspired to get out of bed. If you say that to me and like, oh, that's burnout, like, oh shit, like I'm on the stages of burnout. Thanks for letting me know, then I know. So I think a lot of diagnostics are
Mhm.
circling around as well in sometimes in contents, like you're stuck, you lack cohesion, like, oh, or burnt out. I love burnt out because that's such a nuanced thing to understand. A lot of people, they don't even know they have it.
Mhm.
So I think it comes back to you, like you said, like knowing what they mean when they say that and what does that mean. And saying that instead of saying stuck. Oh, that means you're stuck. By the way, that means you're stuck. And let them make the connection of like, oh my God, I'm stuck. Oh my God, I'm burned out. Oh my God, I'm depressed. Like let them come to that consequence by you just saying the symptoms, like the identifiers. I
Yeah.
think that's also nuanced and it takes time for you to talk to people like that.
Yeah, so this is one of the parts that I go with my clients through the process is speak about the problems they don't know they have.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good example of everything you just said because actually there are so many problems people don't know they have. And then you just need to describe those and to go into how that looks in their day by day life. Like, are you sleeping all day? You don't feel like not even responding to the message you got 3 days ago. And when you talk about what really happens in their life, then you get to the people and it makes sense because you said, seeing stock or any other word, it's like, yeah, okay, sure, and then just keep scrolling. That doesn't mean that you are not good at what you are doing at helping people. It means that the way you communicate that needs to resonate with them. So
Yeah, I love that. All right, let's wrap up this session, Yasmina. Any advice that you were giving to your 5 years ago self? What would that be? I want us to both like part with wisdom. And I will link your Facebook page and Instagram if you have like all their socials so people can reach out to you if they want to after this episode. But I just want us to wrap up with some wisdom at the end. What would you be saying to yourself like 5 years ago? Um, I think that would be a good one.
Yeah, that's a really good question. That's very interesting because I would say to myself that to follow my intuition because I knew what I wanted to do. I felt like I'm not meant for a 9 to 5 job. I knew I wanted more out of this life and out of everything that I have. And not only I wanted to create this income, but I also wanted to have an impact and help other people. But I said, no, just stay in a job, do what everyone else does, and follow the right path. And sometimes, as I said in the beginning, things that you want to do are not going to make sense to everyone around you. Sometimes they are not going to make sense to you either. But you need to go for it. And I will tell to myself, go for it because it's worth it. And I would love to have all the time back and so on. I'm grateful for all the lessons. I'm grateful for everything that happened. But again, I knew what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. I didn't know exactly what I'm going to do, but I had this calling, this desire. So I will tell myself to trust more and to trust my instinct.
Love that. All right. Thank you so much, Yasmina, for being here today, for sharing all your wisdom. Again, guys, if you're listening to this, I'm going to link her social media where you can find her and message her, reach out to her. She's amazing. You can read her content. You can, get to know her better if you want to as well. She's awesome at what she does. Thank you so much again, Yasmina, for your time here and for sharing all your nuggets of knowledge. It was a pleasure having you here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you a lot.